All right, need and want. So let's go back to the start. Attention is the gatekeeper. And we used to think that attention worked like a searchlight. Now the prevailing wisdom is it works like a filter, an energy intensive one at that. And our attention filter is informed by what we remember from the past. Those are the ingredients that inform us what to let through and what to keep out. And good thing that it does. Oops, got a little bit out of myself. Those are the things that help us figure out what we want to let in and what we want to keep out. And good thing it does, because we need to save our scarce cognitive resources for important stuff. So we remember what we think we need to. First concept here is loss aversion, which I think probably a lot of folks are familiar with already. A potential loss is more powerful than a potential gain, almost twice as powerful. I think another way to phrase this is that people work twice as hard to avoid loss as we will to gain a benefit. And stacking on top of that, we also have a negativity bias. Negative events are much more impactful to us than positive ones. And we fear the negative a lot more than we desire the positive. So some examples of this out in the wilds are saving dollars instead of gaining it. Clipping a coupon gives you something that you then don't want to lose. And same with the concept of a reverse free trial, where you get full features on day one and then you lose them if you don't upgrade. All right. Next concept here is the self-reference bias. We're more interested in information about ourselves, believe it or not. Some examples of how this has been used is Dove's Real Beauty campaign showing real people. Personalization on websites. This is from Optimizely. This is an ABM personalization. And Brooks Running, which is an IP address current weather personalization that I think is pretty slick. And then back to that same Labs user-generated content example that I shared earlier. Okay, so we're going to get into a couple more concepts here. First one is the Google effect. The idea here is that people remember information that isn't going to be accessible, and the level of detail that we remember the level of detail that we remember depends on future ease of access. And the testing effect, people remember more when we know we'll be tested on it later. And actually, the act of retrieving that information increases memory itself. So some examples and tools here. Introduce open loops, and asking questions is a really great way to do this. I'll show you an ad sequence from Superside. And this one from Brex, which is probably not a good answer. And an open loop from Netflix. So we remember what we have to think about: prompt recall and processing. We'll go through a couple examples here. This is an ad from Tommy Hilfiger. We can't help but to try to fill in the blanks and figure out if we agree, disagree. A masterclass with a question that it feels like I should already have the answer to, but I don't. And then another omission one. I can't help but to fill in the blanks. And we remember what we value. A couple more concepts here. The endowment effect, which I think we already covered, but wanted a chance to bring Smeagol into this. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan, hopefully you appreciate that. But we value our things. We value things more if they're ours versus not ours. And hyperbolic discounting. We value what we can get now versus get in the future much more than is rational. And then social proof. We outsource lots of that brain work to other people, especially when other people are important and or we aren't sure what we should do. So let's look at a couple examples of these three in play. First one is from Calm, with a nice use of social proof in their mobile notification. A couple from Amazon's product detail page. The fast track promise here hits both of these effects. It's almost yours and look how fast you can have it. And then the social proof with the most common. Thought this was really nice copy. I can't recall from who, but I think it's a cool example of social proof. And then from booking.com, social proof hit in a couple of different ways here. Last booking, reviews, people looking at this hotel now. Another twofer, this is Uber. And the same thing from Google. And then as a last example here, this is Amazon using the endowment effect along with a couple other things to get audience participation and buy-in.